This is a Nekko Media podcast.
What's your pleasure, sir?
Welcome, cinephiles and Cenobites. This is Cinebite24 of Season 3. I am your host, Annika Pussyfoot. On this episode, Mox and Ono review the revenge film, Get My Gun. The film is written by Brian Darwas and Jennifer Carchietta. The film is directed by Darwas, and it stars Kate Hoffman and Rosanne Rubino. Pick up a copy of the film at tragicbus.com. Here it is, Get My Gun.
All right, welcome to another Cinephiles and Cenobites podcast. I'm your host, Onofre, and with me, the other half, Mox.
Yo, what's up, man?
Today, we're going to be reviewing the indie horror, thriller, slasher, very
thought piece,
art house.
very art house. It is Grindhouse meets art house in this intellectual run of the slasher revenge genre.
Sure. And that film is called Get My Gun.
Get My Gun.
Get My Gun, written by Brian Darwas and Jennifer Carchietta.
Who is also the producer, right?
Yes, I believe so. And she and Brian Darwas is the director of the film. Yes. So I believe I heard about this film going through, I guess, the festival circuit last year. The film
we
stars
need to get that down here.
Kate Hoffman, Rosanne Rubino. We have Christy Casey, William Joseph. And we also have Store Clerk by Jacqueline Gillen and Man at Hotel, Wayne Gurman.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I think he was that one dude.
Yeah, the John. The John.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Well, because he's the only other man in there. Like, I like how contained this story is.
Yes, it's really just two characters.
Yeah.
And the doctor. Well, I think that's
the doctor in quotes.
Oh, in quotes. Oh man. Okay. So according to, we're gonna read the summary. I'm gonna read the summary off the back of the DVD, which is actually available at tragicbus.com. Get your copy now.
Dope production name.
All right. So after an innocent prank leaves Amanda pregnant and out of a job, she finds herself on the verge of motherhood and the target of a psychotic stalker who will stop at nothing to get their hands on her unborn child. That's when you got a prank that ends up, with a woman pregnant and out of a job. Yo, what kind of prank was that? What were you going for?
Also, what is that? The worst place on earth to work? Like, who fires a woman for getting a pregnancy post-rape? Or just a pregnant lady? Like, I feel there are laws that protect people from being fired because they're pregnant. Like, isn't there a maternity leave? I know it's a bullshit amount of time, but I guess that's not the purpose. That's just the setup of the conflict to follow. But Jesus Christ, this fucking movie. Whew.
So going into this movie, okay, we saw the trailer. So it looked pretty it did look very with that gritty kind of presentation, very grindhouse.
Very grindhouse,
I anticipated a lot of not a lot of violence, but just really violent acts as well. I mean, if there wasn't going to be a lot, I mean, they're going to be pretty severe. And if there was going to be a lot, it'd be like, spread out. But,
it's actually I feel tempered. It's very tempered, and it's presented very tastefully, given the subject matter. Because I feel like these particular filmmakers don't rely on that shock and awe of spectacle. A lot of times these kind of grindhouse go in the opposite direction of Michael Bay, which is essentially the same thing, but because they can't afford fucking Transformers, what they do is just try and disgust you with, look at how awful this is. Oh, Indy.
Oh, okay. Okay, spoilers ahead, because
Oh yeah, we're gonna full blown. All right.
yeah,
Well,
we're gonna break this film down because
yeah. So if we've made it sound interesting to this point, press stop and go watch it first, and then because we're gonna give away the cow, and so you can't have the milk, or the milk becomes. I don't know what that metaphor is, but yeah, we're gonna spoil it because the best experience of this, other than analyzing it after you've already seen it, is the fucking succession of left turns.
yes. And so
Also, what I love about this motherfuckers is they don't post no fucking direction signs or warnings or anything. Like, you hit a left turn and you only realize you did when you're like miles down the road. Like, oh fuck, we're not where we thought we were.
Yeah.
Did you know? Did you see the sign saying we was in Crazyville? You didn't? Okay, me neither. Because what the fuck is happening?
yeah, so this film, if you're not prepared for it, prepare yourself for
It's
yeah.
you know what it is. It's a slow burn like no other, especially in recent times, because it is a very slow and gradual creep up. But it just all of a sudden you realize you're in a forest that's on fire.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, that slow burn happens. So you're already riding up on a high. The film starts off big and exciting.
Right. It starts off with a frame. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's presented in 3 acts. Chapter 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
But once so that slow burn happens at chapter 2.
Yeah.
And I think that's where you're already mad. Like, yo, it's getting boring. What happened?
Yeah, it was super slowy. Because the rest of chapter 1, the stuff leading up to the rape in chapter 1 was good. You know, a lot of just behavior, and we get to see kind of the mundaneness of her life. And that was cool because we need a sense of a life before she has it ripped from her. So that was fine. But then fucking chapter 2 begins with such a like, oh, you know, it's like, hurry up already. Fucking what the fuck is this? And then
and I like what you pointed out. This felt like a different movie. Like
it
all
did.
of a sudden.
All of a sudden, it becomes this thing about like a psycho stalker who at first wants to adopt the baby or whatever.
Yeah. Well,
but
I think that comes in later. Yeah, well, like I don't think she was planning that, right? Until it kind of just popped up. And you know what I found like later? I was thinking about the movie. I was like, it didn't come to mind like when chapter 2 hit and we see that she's pregnant. Like my initial thought was, it wasn't, oh, she didn't abort. Like she kept the baby. Like that didn't come into mind. Like that was a choice.
Oh, right.
So like my initial thought was, oh, you know, she's in her third trimester.
Fixated?
Yeah, she's already showing.
No, I remember
like,
you saying that. No, but
yeah, like this is the timeline.
You were so distracted by the TV. That was like a huge
so
thing.
who's your prop guy? Who's your I'm trying to figure out. Okay, what year is this? What city is this?
I know you found that TV distracting and irritating, but there's no way it was just happenstance.
See that kind of TV today? That's something that your friend gave you, but then it's like,
that's
you gotta pick it
TV.
up though. You gotta pick that up. Like, I'm not gonna bring it to you. It's because it's for free. You gotta lug this thing around.
Right.
Do they even still have those kind of like the coaxial connections? Like, you can't even get free cable.
That's hard. It's hard. Yeah.
You have to be digital. You need a box now.
Yeah. All of the broadcasts are digital. Yeah.
Unless that was
she looked like she was watching some. You know, I mean,
the same program,
movies,
right?
Yeah.
Like, so it must have been that VHS TV combo. But I didn't see.
That's what I'm thinking it was. Yeah.
And the speakers still work on that thing? Ooh.
No, to filmmakers, some of the audience will be distracted by props.
Yes. But it is prop specific in this movie, as you come to find out later. You know, lots of
everything just explodes as it builds.
There is symbolism, a lot of it.
As
and
fuck.
you nailed it when it came to the child and the butterfly.
Yeah.
I thought about reading Metamorphosis by Kafka. Then I'm like, do I really?
Well, you
have
think
to?
they went that deep?
Like,
yeah, I didn't.
Well, because in the thing, right? Like the first line of that story, like I forget what exactly it is, but he pretty much says, "I am an insect" or something, right? Or but then and then throughout the story, right, he's describing himself. But then from what I remember, it's like you're trying to figure out, is he just going crazy or is he really turning into this creature?
Experiencing, right.
But then, you have to accept that he is turning into a creature because that's like the first he gives it away at the beginning. So I guess at the beginning of this movie,
well, that's why we stopped watching the
commentary.
The commentary, right? Because it was like, oh fuck, we wanted to like lay down what we thought first, but as soon as they gave away about the payphone, the behind the scenes of how the payphone came to be, that it wasn't actually at that part, and then they talked about why the costume specifically, right? The little girl could have been anything, but they chose the butterfly for that reason. That something beautiful can come from something so horrific, and I feel like her whole journey is to try to make a butterfly out of this hideous, rapey fucking caterpillar thing.
Sure, yeah, and we kept saying, "Oh, orange."
I loved
tint.
it. I know that got old for you after a bit, but I'm like, her life has literally become bathed in this orange.
Is it orange or is it pumpkin?
Well, I mean, okay, are you talking like specifically like shades of color? I think
pumpkin
maybe,
orange.
Because that dude had the pumpkin, maybe, now everything of her life is like tinged in that pumpkin orange because he's.
But then like their skin tone was like pumpkin. I was like, yo, take it back.
I think that's just a side effect, right.
take it back a little bit,
right? Because everything's orange, even the people, and that's distracting. I know, but I mean, I just read it as like everything now becomes imbued with that fucking hideousness.
Sure, yeah.
And I think that's actually what the story about, right? The main debate of this story is, this kid getting rid of it or keeping it because of what it represents, and because will it ever be able to be anything but a reminder of that horrible, hideous thing? And I like how fucking hopeful and optimistic the story is.
Yeah.
Because it could have easily went dark. Thematically, it could have went dark. This is actually a pretty hopeful fucking look at humanity and our ability to transcend the fucking hideouser parts of our nature and the world at large. So fuck yeah. And it did it in a way too that I don't think was super like, oh, look at the cherry on top, like cheesy. Yeah.
Oh yeah. It wasn't like it wasn't so obvious. Some parts you gotta figure out
selling rainbows and shit at the end.
But like
so sorry.
The whole second half of that chapter 2, though, that's when okay, we both enjoyed the consistency of the film and the storytelling,
right,
and just
and
the movement,
logic,
everything, the mechanics, the presentation. So, and then I think what triggered it was when
the phone,
when Amanda put the phone on the car
instead of putting it into her hoodie or her pocket like a normal every other human being. To me, that jumped the shark so bad. And then moments like that kept happening, and we were about ready to give up on this movie. All that kept us in is that this movie was too meticulous and thoughtful to do something so lazy like that. So there has to be a reason. And we held on, and good thing we did, because there is a reason. But that's what I mean about the signposting. They sneak you in to this new world of fucked upness without you even knowing where you are until it happens, and then you are kind of behind the 8 ball trying to catch up and being like, what the fuck is happening? No, that wouldn't happen. That wouldn't happen. That wouldn't happen.
Yeah. So yeah, we were trying. Okay, there's got to be a reason.
Then we started seeing reasons for this. Okay, the bad guy all of a sudden shows up. No car, nothing. Fine, whatever. And she's holding a kitchen knife that's already bloody. Okay, I guess. And then remember I told you I had to construct a narrative for me on why she's holding a kitchen knife.
Let me make it up.
To keep going, because I was like, why would you have a kitchen knife?
Yeah. I mean, and all of a sudden, right? It's like, oh, okay.
And then, right, the best friend gets murked, which doesn't make sense because in the opening, they clearly show you that she survives to chapter 3. But
yes. Or she's this is the past. The babies, or we have to assume that child was the one she gave birth to, right? Yeah. We have to assume
these motherfuckers at Tragic Bus, they do not hold your hand. If you don't get it, then you can go watch Transformers.
Go watch Shutter Island if you want inconsistencies and just
Oh God, Shutter Island. You know, I still don't like Shutter Island. I know a lot of people are like, oh, Shutter Island. I'm like, what the fuck? That is for real. The whole thing is him being crazy. Oh, get the fuck out. Whatever.
wait, no,
Yeah,
but
enough
then
about
no,
it.
he's cured at the end.
Okay, but that's up for debate. And also, I only saw it once and I hated it. And I don't want to talk about that movie
Okay.
while we're talking about something that's the actual indie gem.
Yeah. Yes. So
But yeah, okay. No, there was a point where it
Yeah.
almost reached a saturation point where I almost told you, like, you know what, fuck this movie already.
yes, but you it's there for a reason, and you kind of just it gets more art house than grindhouse.
Then Grindhouse.
Yeah.
And then it goes back to Grindhouse, and then it ends on kind of whatchamacallit, like a synthesis of the two.
Sure.
But with
Yeah.
that hopeful
Kind of
meaning,
loops
and-
around.
Yeah, and it brings it back, and it kind of I guess, you know, I think they did it in a frame because they wanted to contextualize this fucking wild ass journey that takes place over the course of the story.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. And there's lots of symbolism in this movie, and
As fuck.
Yeah. you can interpret it your own different ways.
That's I guess the fun part, but also like, yeah,
I mean,
because
within
there
the
are elements.
the context of
you-
what she's doing,
Right,
and
right.
it's
like-
up for interpretation. But
Right, and it's like how far you want to go with it.
yeah,
Right. But yeah, I mean, we started going down into like looking for like literal parallels. Like, okay, so like the fucking is the lady, like, is she representing, like, I thought it was like an emotion, right?
Hmm.
Her own feelings of ownership to the, you know, or just the feeling of wanting to take that baby away. Right. And
Yeah,
then I
yeah.
remember at one point you said, okay, this thing, do you think that's like the hospital? Like all of this is like happening, you know, it's her mind's way of making sense of what's happening around her.
yeah,
Because, you know,
and knife's got to be like her.
the knife was significant.
Yeah.
It could have been any knife, but they picked a fucking kitchen knife.
Right. I mean, that knife through the door though, and then through the hand. Yo. And then when she woke up from that first shot from the gun, or like,
Mm-hmm. At that
well, I
point,
thought
okay,
I'm like, did you see it go? Like, there'd be brains splattered right now.
there would,
Mhm.
and it also would have destroyed the door. It wouldn't have like gone perfectly through the. But at that point, we started getting the clue. Like, okay, so this shit that's happening, it's not literal.
Yeah.
You know, this is some other shit. And then when she got up from being fucking blasted, also the bullet wound that was on her head didn't look realistic. So they give you enough signs for you to piece together that this is not meant to be taken literally. This is something that is happening,
Yeah.
I guess, within her mind, or this is a whole figurative movement of the internal conflict that she's trying to resolve.
Sure.
And then we go back, right, and we finish out the frame in the
Yeah.
third act.
And I think just the tricky part is just kind of trying to figure out where it begins, where it starts to become
Right.
like left
Starts to
turn.
get surreal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where it becomes surreal as fuck. Yeah. But because I don't know. I do appreciate that they managed to pack that surreal madness in a really nice, organized way, and not just get totally fucked up about it. Like, I feel that happens a lot, especially in horror, especially in micro budget horror. You know, then we just start seeing fucking shaky cam, fucking Dutch angle for no reason, random ass cuts to some crazy shit for the sake of crazy. Like, this crazy happens, but I feel like it is meticulous, and there's a lot of visual signposts
Yeah.
after you get acclimated, right? After you get kind of acclimated that you are in this fucked up woods of craziness.
Yeah. So I think everything was planned out, and nothing left up to chance. So everything, like, this is one of the movies where everything needs to be where it is, and it's there for a reason.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
none of those oh, it just looks cool, so let's shoot it. Like this.
Right. Yeah, no. I don't think this is one of those movies. It's like, what's the reason behind it? What's the motivation? Because that looks mad cool, son.
Yes.
So yeah,
Check it out. This one's another think piece. A good film to break down.
we are in a golden age of horror, man.
Yeah,
Hitting its renaissance.
very smart film and very well presented. Awesome job to the cast and crew.
Yeah, very much.
Pick this movie up. Go get it. Tragicbus.com. Yo, watch CC.
Yo, watch CC.
All right, you heard it here. Get my gun. All right, well, that is it for this episode. Thank you for checking it out. Be sure to check out this episode's show notes for links to all our social media sites. But other than that, be sure to visit our website, nekkomedia.com. That's NEKKO media.com. And we also be on Twitter and Instagram. Very active on both of those. And you can check those out at cynical_mass. That's CINECAL_MASS. And feel free to get in touch through email, cinephilesandscenobites@gmail.com. Any movie recommendations, we'd love to check it out. Any screeners, we'd love to review. Any potential guests? Yeah, we love having guests on the show too.
Yeah, if you're a filmmaker, fucking hit us a line and we'll get you on the show. Ask you your top 6 movies and what it's like to be an artist like you.
Oh, yes. And any fellow cinephiles and Cenobites. You are welcome.
Yes.
Any place that they can hit you up, Mox?
At villainous_kind. Instagram and fucking Twitter. But don't bother. I rarely check it except when I'm drunk. So
okay.
I'd either send it to Ono or the show.
Yeah, you can check me out on Twitter at This Is Ono. That's This Is OHNO. Same goes for Instagram.
Oh, no.
Yup. All right. Well, thank you again. Take it away, Annika.
This has been a Nekko Media podcast broadcasting from the Blood Cave, part of the /Potter family. For myself, Annika Pussyfoot, Mox, and Ono, keep the lights on and check under that bed because there's only one universal truth. No lives matter. That means you. Stay rating, Wokeland.
We have candy.
This is us, Ono and Mox's podcast. Sounds like crap leaving ass, or duck fucking glass. Probably both, it's really bad, and we do the shit all for you. And we sound like shit while we do. Tigers podcast, we broadcasting shit podcast. Tigers podcast, in your face, in your dreams. Shit podcast. Tigers.